Hey, Frontline fans, welcome back to Comic Frontline Fans. You're back with me, Mike Spider-Slayer, getting ready to talk about Fear of the Walking Dead, Episode 2. So close yet so far. That's right, guys. Um, yes, this episode, this time along, is only an hour long instead of that 90 minutes. So I thought that this episode wasn't so far dragged out. In this episode, we get to see Travis, and we get to see Madison, and we get to see, I know, Tobias and Art, the principal. And with Madison and Travis, they kind of go on their own separate missions, and I'll kind of break that down as we go along here. So, in the beginning of this episode, we wind up seeing Alicia going to her boyfriend's house, and she come across, and you find out that he's pretty sick, and we wind up finding out that he got bit, and obviously Alicia doesn't really want to leave him behind, but the parents obviously know. Which is Madison and Travis, they obviously know that something is not right in the city. Things are getting worse, and you obviously get to see more signs of that as this episode goes along when it comes to like power being in and out, phone service being in and out. And what I do like about the show is just like they'll show what you think might be certain zombie elements. So like in the beginning you had Alicia walking down the street and you hear like these weird sounds, but it's skateboards where kids are flying by, where you think, oh look, it's a zombie apocalypse. Oh, just kidding, it's just kids going uh, through the town with their skateboards on. So it's kind of cool how they throw in those elements. But in the beginning, Alicia didn't want to leave her boyfriend, but she winds up going with Travis and Madison anyway. Now, Nick, being that he's been off of drugs for a few days, he's just about to go through some crazy withdrawal shit. And you get to see him go through that in this episode. He pukes all over the place. Alicia has to stand by his side while he's going through these withdrawals. And Madison winds up going to the school and has to go and to find some medication or some kind of drugs in order to kind of wean him off of the whole withdrawal process, because if he does, he could possibly die. So that's the mission that he goes on. Now, Travis, going through the whole situation that they went through in the last episode, wants to get a hold of his son, Christopher. And so he goes to his ex-wife, Lisa's house, and finds out that he's not there. Now, the crazy thing that happens in this episode is there's people that are totally oblivious to what's going on. This virus thing has been going on for quite a few days, where they know people has gotten sick. There's a lot of news going on. If people are rising from their dead or getting shot, this would be all over the place. If there's some kind of crazy virus going on, things are not right, this would be all over the place, and just people are totally oblivious to what's going on. You can see the signs there in the distance. You as a next door neighbor, you see him sniffling and coughing. You get to see a policeman has water in his squad car, and you get to see things like that. But Lisa is completely oblivious because she's worked so much, so she had no idea what's going on. So they have to go after Christopher, and he's in a riot right now where obviously all of Los Angeles is starting to fall apart because it's the freedom of speech, freedom to talk. So they shot this homeless guy. He had rights, and so there's this big riot that breaks out. So Travis gets his son. They wind up going and they meet the Salazar family. And they're just like, oh, let's go in there. And so they wind up hanging out with this family. Salazar family is clueless to what's going on. Mr. Salazar, Daniel, is the guy giving haircuts while there's a whole freaking riot going on. And it was like, hey, I'm clueless. I have no idea what's going on. I don't hear the sirens in the background. I don't hear people running all over the place. I'm right across the street, but I have no idea. They made him like he was absolutely clueless on here. Same with his daughter, Ophelia. What's going on? Who are these people? Why are they in here? Clueless. Absolutely clueless, okay? Madison, she goes into the school. The school's completely abandoned. The principal somehow is walking around in there when you see the beginning of the episode, and then you wind up seeing that he becomes a zombie in this episode. We don't know how he became a zombie, obviously. He's just walking around aimlessly, and he comes across Madison and Tobias. Tobias winds up happening to showing up when Madison is in there so he can get his zombie supplies. Now, he's pretty cool, this kid, because he's watched everything that's been going on online. So he seems like he's got the most information. But when they come across the principal, Art, and they had to do the first zombie kill for Madison, she takes the fire extinguisher and just bangs it on his head. Okay, I get it. You don't know how to kill the guy. You've never come across a zombie kill before. But there was no emotion whatsoever from her. She was just like, hey, I just killed my, a good friend that I've worked with for years and years, and I come out of the school just walking out of there with my, my Tobias and his backpack. They didn't have any supplies with them. They just got in the car and left. She talks about Tobias. Hey, Tobias, you should come with us. Nah, that's okay. I'm going to go and, you guys will be on yourself. I'm going to be on my own. Okay, whatever. No emotion for Madison whatsoever until she cleans off her little jacket with a little bit of blood on it and she starts crying a little bit. I mean, I was like, really? Come on, dude. Like, this is some monumental shit right here. Like, you just bashed in your principal's brains with a freaking fire extinguisher, and that's all we got? That's how we react? That's sick stuff right there. Stuff like that doesn't normally happen. That bothered me, like how lack of emotion she was and how clueless the Salazar family was. And then Travis, you wind up seeing rescuing his son. And that's kind of what the whole episode was. And you see Mrs. Salazar, the wife, Griselda, wind up praying at the end. And that's how the episode ends. So even though I like seeing some of these elements of how certain people know what's going on, there's other elements in there where people are absolutely clueless. And it's just like, it just bothers me. There's no balance there. And maybe this is why Robert Kirkman decided not to deal with how the world reacted while the apocalypse was going on. Because I felt like this episode was kind of all over the place on how people reacted to it. And it just, I don't know, it's not right. I feel like The Walking Dead works better when after the whole apocalypse happened and kind of leaves it up to your imagination. This is just kind of weird. You get to see the power flicker on and off, and it just, I don't know, it's just a little bit off for me. And then another thing that bothers me in this series is that we don't get another episode for another 2 weeks. So are you vested into this enough to where you're going to remember 2 weeks from now that this is on? I don't know. So as entertaining, it isn't entertaining for me to watch because I am a Walking Dead fan, but I find a lot of things wrong with this particular episode. I thought that the last episode was quite boring and drawn out, but it was okay, and I understood it why. But now that you get the second episode, I don't know. It doesn't. A lot of things don't make sense for me. So I'm going to give this one. I'm going to leave this up to you and let you guys think. I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5 stars. Hopefully, in 2 weeks from now, we'll see where our group and cast of characters go. If they make it to the desert, if they get reunited, how does Nick deal with his drug troubles? Is Alicia gonna want to sit there and go after her boyfriend and find out what happened to him? And God forsake, Madison, are you gonna freaking sit there and tell your daughter what's going on and go and leave her in the dark? Is she that clueless? Like, you need to tell her shit. Like, that bothered me too. She reminds me a lot of like Andrea from the original episodes. It's like, tell her what's going on, man. Tell her what's happening here. This is wild and crazy shit that's happening. You need to let your daughter know what's going on if you want to live. So I don't know. A lot of things, again, bother me about this episode. Guys, tell me what you thought in the comments below. And fans, as always, thank you for watching Comic Frontline. Until that next comic book review, this is Mike Spider-Slayer signing off. Take care, guys. See you soon. Bye.